Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Akash Kosh, the treasure house of divine wisdom or impeccable wisdom. My mission, the impeccable wisdom, knowing which everything is fully known. My greatest discovery, Divyank, the divine design of nature, with which the perfect objects are designed and created. The entire wisdom of Divyank, Divyank sequence, Divyank ratio, Divyank infinity, in has actually emerged only from Akash Kosh, which was also known as Akash recording. Understand what is Akash Kosh? Akash Kosh, as I told you, was also known as Akash recording, and many people have tapped Akash recording to find information both past, present, and future. You can call it astrology, etc. They have used astrology as a medium to show. But I'm trying to understand this concept from neuroscience point of view. From neuroscience point of view, Schumann resonance field is associated with ionosphere layer of our atmosphere. And all the information of the past, present, and future events of the entire universe are stored there like we have in iCloud in ionic form. And in today's language, it should be much easier to understand that it is possible to have storage of plenty of information in ionic form because we have that in our tablets, we have that in cell phones, we have in computers, we have in so many ways. So understanding and accepting that its possibility was there, possibility is there, possibility always be there, has made science has made our understanding Akash recording, Akash Kosh much easier because we practically see. And as long as radio, receiver, TV, FM is in tune with the transmitting station, same frequency you can hear. If all the information is in Akash Kosh in Schumann resonance ionosphere at 8.73 Hertz frequency stored. If we can bring that much of that particular frequency in our brain, entire brain, I'm sure we would be a perfect receiving center for Akash Kosh. And that is exactly what I've tried to do in my life. Or try to do it, or it has happened that way as a result because of my experience and then scientific research. I'm able to explain in a logical terms. 8.73 Hertz frequency is ideal for human beings. Other two frequencies, 14.1 Hertz and 20.3 Hertz, let us not talk about this at particular juncture. What is its role and otherwise? Now, as a receiving center, we human beings, let us understand what is. It is well known internationally the most evolved brain in the entire universe is the human brain. But why human brain is the most involved? But now let me, as I'm a trained, qualified neuroscientist, and my research centers around that, at this particular juncture, I would put it on record the functions of the outer three layers of neocortex of the brain, to the best of my knowledge, are not known to the neuroscientists of the world. Almost everybody says the exact functions are not at all known. But I do know, I know the functions, I have used it optimally. So we will, with that perception, let me start one by one, explain what exactly the three outer layers of neocortex do and what they are meant for. Because nothing happens without a reason. If we have been given three outer layers, but definitely for some purpose, otherwise it wouldn't be a part of evolution. Anything which is not used would become redundant and disappear. That is what nature is all about. Since it is not become redundant and it is there, maybe people have not used it consciously or super consciously, but in my case, knowingly, unknowingly, I've been able to use it and get the benefit because of Akhand Yoga. What happened, how I understand, let me explain. The gray matter of the outer three layers of neocortex act as an antenna towards divine internet or Akash Kosh, or the treasure of divine wisdom or impeccable wisdom. But these three layers are not found in other brains is also the fact which we know. From that point of view, the three outer layers of neocortex make the human brain the most evolved, but unfortunately the functions have not been known to the neuroscientists. As a result, they have not been able to prove, and I'm going to prove certain things which could be enlightening for the entire neuroscience research itself. There are two parts of the brain. Outer brain neocortex receptors are projected to the entire universe right on top. But actual part of the brain stem and spinal cord which take care of unconscious, subconscious functions of all the vital functions of the body, including homeostasis, negative feedback, positive feedback, center around this part of the brain in which the gray matter, the body of the neuron cells, is projected in the center. But brain, it's outside, peripherally. But lower brain, it is inside, close to where you have a central canal of the spinal cord and ventricle, left, third ventricle and fourth ventricle. So distinction can be made, and that's what I tried to highlight. With the help of Akhand Yoga, 10 stages, Antar Yoga, I've been able to internalize the soul consciousness within the ventricles, and thereby from inside I'm able to integrate all the gray matter of the lower part as the upper part, integrate into one unit and make. At this juncture, let me also tell you there are 100 billion neuron cells, and each cell can make 20,000 memory synapses. Can you imagine the kind of memory we can have if we have a totally activated, integrated entire nervous system? And that is what I've been able to do over the last 30 years to this level that I'm talking to you out of my own experience, my own conviction as an ex-tempo speaker. It's not reading from the thing. It's just, I always do it myself. I think from that point of view, I think we come to a stage that we have this kind of brain. All of us have it. But Akhand Yoga or something of that nature could help us to make optimum use of all our potentials and be in tune with the universal consciousness or Akash Kosh and get all the information for the benefit of humanity or the world as such. So from that, let's now go, can we prove it? What happens to the real evolved brain? There are 7 layers of neocortex. I would like to show in detail what exactly the neuroscience talks about it. There is a reflex arch within the human nervous system, the way it functions. You have an input from sensory component, whatever is happening outside, information is carried by sensory nerves to the brain, to the ascending tract, to the 4th layer of the neocortex. Please mark it. All the sensory information from the external world through the spinal cord, through the posterior side of the brain, through the ascending tract, comes to the sensory part of the posterior brain only up to 4th state. And from there the information is carried to the motor component again to the 4th layer. Bed cells are pyramidal cells and descending tracts start only from 4th layer. So you can understand reflex arch from sensory component up to 4th layer of the sensory brain to the 4th layer of the motor brain and descending tract from that. That's how all the neuroscience works. That's how all of us actually function and we understand. And 3 layers, as you can see, are very, very thin and you can only see receptors around. You don't see the thicker lines and so many big nuclei which you can see in the bottom part. 4th and 5th layer prominently you can see. But upper is just dendrites like a receptors You can only get the information, subtle information from higher level of consciousness. So this particular understanding for neuroscientists by and large should be much more useful to make optimum use of outer three layers of neocortex so that we can make optimum use of our potential, have a phenomenal memory, and thereby resolve all the issues of the mankind. A scientific, as I told in my research work, preceding video, I have said to start with in 1993, my analog signal demonstrated only 10.5 Hz alpha frequency with eyes closed and mind at rest. After opening the eyes and mental calculation, alpha 10.5 was replaced by faster beta activity. But within 2 years of my practice with Akhand Yoga or Kundalini Yoga, I could bring alpha frequency at 9.43 Hertz frequency after opening the eyes throughout the brain, which was very enlightening, unusual, significant research finding. But unfortunately, at that particular stage, we couldn't find other subject who could do it. As a result, I had to pray, and that is where the journey of me and Voice of Silence dialogue started from 95. And now entire thing is my questions, answers of my soul, which gets from Akash Kosh, and I'm expected to logically understand and present with the scientific evidence, and this is what my contribution, but all the information I get it only from Voice of Silence. My guru is my Voice of Silence. I only as a research scholar try to make science and spiritual together and show it. So from that point, with a closed angle, closed eyes at a later date, these pictures were usually were taken at the age of 66, 2018, when you can find with the closed eyes, I could have a peak alpha frequency of 8.5 Hertz only. Throughout the brain, with eyes open and eyes closed, alpha frequency. With the closed eyes, it was 8.5 Hertz frequency. Now, after opening the eyes, instead of increasing frequency, it is even further reduced the frequency to 8 Hertz. Very interesting. Normally, after opening, you get faster, but here after opening, according to Akhand Yoga, control over senses is required. That means my eyes are opened, but I am undisturbed by the external world. I am focused only in soul consciousness within the ventricles. As a result, I am able to reduce even further and demonstrate there. Okay, now at this particular juncture, I would like to explain one concept which has not been explained by the neuroscientists at all. If you look at the normal EEG with eyes closed and mind at rest, you get alpha frequency from occipital and parietal region of the brain alone. Rest of the brain does not demonstrate alpha frequency at all. But why only occipital region primarily and rarely parietal? But let's focus on occipital region, which is visual cortex. The reason is very simple, because all the signals which are associated with eyes activate 60% of the brain, and they are very powerful. As a result, sensory input or stimulus of the eyes goes up to the second and third layer of neocortex, and this has also been recorded very clearly. In occipital region, you see activity of first, second, and third. Second and third primarily much more than the first one. That means eyes are able to produce activation of the second and third layer neocortex primarily in occipital region only, or to some extent this. And this has been done. But with the help of Akhand Yoga, I am able to activate make all the sensory inputs from entire body as well as from top, activate all the three layers of the entire brain because of concentration, contemplation, and maybe intellectual, intuitive discussion dialogue within me and my voice of silence. As a result, I'm able to activate second and third layer of the entire brain outside. I think that is what the message of this particular research is. Normal people, because vision is very powerful, it can stimulate second and third layer of neocortex of the occipital region or visual cortex. You can see alpha frequency from there. With eyes closed, rest of the brain you don't see. But if you learn to activate all the 64 different aspects of the nervous system, you can activate all the entire brain, second, first, and third layers of neocortex, and this is the result of that. And I'm glad, with the help of voice of silence and the kind of processes which associated with Akhand Yoga, kind of breathing exercise, kind of meditation, kind of music, etc., has worked wonders for me. As a result, I'm able to be in tune with Akash Kosh with a very scientific way without having any problem, and thereby I can download all the information from there. So, carry home message is very clear. Normal EEG, you see alpha frequency of 10.5 hertz from occipital region of the brain. When eyes are closed, mind is at rest. Very moment you do mental calculations or open the eyes, even this occipital region is replaced by beta activity, and rest of the brain does not show. But if you are able to be a master of all the 16 arts or 64 arts and sciences, you understand maths, you understand physics, you understand chemistry, you understand biology, you understand almost every different aspect, in whether it is geometry, whether it is artwork, whether it's music, whether it is dancing, drama, whatever it is. Once you are in tune with all that, you try to understand each and everything, all the 64 arts. Initially, it might be difficult because you are creating horizontal integration. But as you start building on vertical integration along with the horizontal, you can make optimum usage. Let me put it, say, almost everyone around the world is focusing on one art as a major one. As a result, you can make optimum use 2% or 3%. At the most, you can make use of 6% of the brain, and it is said Einstein used 11% of the brain. But I am of the opinion, have always been of the opinion, if the God, nature has given us such a beautiful brain, we should be able to make optimum use of the entire brain. But to do that, we cannot concentrate only on one art. We'll have to at least concentrate on 16 arts, if not more than that. But if you really become the super master of all the 16 different forms of arts and sciences, I'm sure with the horizontal integration and vertical integration, you can have an EEG like this. It should not be at all difficult. And I think my advantage is I've been a voracious reader, voracious discusser, debater, and student all my life. I think over a period, I have activated the entire thing, learned all the 16 different arts, and this is my videos are a result of that. And I think this particular EEG of mine with closed eyes, open eyes, and this whole concept is the result of a journey of life full of intellectual pursuits, learning different arts, discussing different arts, and doing research on different arts, and then writing about it, publishing about it, writing different books, and explaining on different platforms. In the last 60 years, have come to this particular state. I can understand if it has taken me 60 years to come to this level. Now that we have a theoretical knowledge, and People who can become a voracious readers and try to understand concept very clearly, they might be able to do within 10 years itself. I don't find any reason. Anyway, I'm glad that I've been able to do. I represent that. And let's now come to a little more essence of the particular set. The impeccable wisdom, as I've very said, say, most evolved brain of divine nature is an integrated, enlightened human brain. If we want to make optimum use of the human brain, we'll have to activate, integrate, enlighten ourselves with knowledge. And for me, enlightenment is not seeing some light in the head. It is right education, right knowledge, wisdom, impeccable wisdom is enlightening and empowering. So anyone who believes in right education, right knowledge, wisdom is enlightenment. When you have that integrated, enlightened human brain, which can think rationally, is fully aware of everything, and knows how to understand the perfection and separate perfection from imperfection. As a result, you can activate the three outer layers of neocortex. When you have that, you can produce a predominant and coherent alpha frequency throughout the brain. As a result, we can be in tune with the Schumann resonance field, and Schumann's resonance field represents Akash Kosh, which stores events of the past, present, and future. As a result, we can download all the information and thereby recognize, conceive, and reveal all the divine designs of nature. And Divyank is a result of this particular scientific research systematically and putting on record to the world that this is the neuroscience, actual neuroscience, and neuroscientists should work thereafter. It has been a one-man journey, but I'm sure that all the great research, like even a Pavlov's pouch, were done on single subject study only. It is single, but I'm sure over a period we can replicate with other subjects who are equally interested to work in the same direction and then try to produce it and replicate it. And I am sure it can be easily done. If I can do it, I'm sure everybody else can do it. With that hope, let me come to the end of video and say thank you very much for giving me encouragement to produce better and better scientific knowledge and then lay behind the legacy of this work so that we can start a fresh kind of research with the perfect, impeccable wisdom from school, college to the university, which we don't have to unlearn and relearn. We need an awareness of knowledge which is perfect from every angle, which is impeccable, not wide range values. If we have, I think it'll be wonderful. That's what I hope, and that is what this particular desire of Akhand Vidyashram is only that. So, once again, thank you very much for encouraging and giving me a golden opportunity. Thank you.